When people see a medical helicopter land, it usually means something serious is happening. The sound alone grabs attention instantly. Within seconds, a helicopter can transform an ordinary location, a highway, a field, a parking lot, into an emergency landing zone. But what most people don't realize is that every single flight involves an enormous amount of coordination, specialized training, equipment, and cost operating behind the scenes. In fact, medical helicopters are some of the most expensive emergency response systems in existence. And the reason goes far beyond simply owning the helicopter itself. Medical helicopters, often called air ambulances, exist for one primary reason: speed. In major medical emergencies, minutes can make a critical difference. Severe trauma injuries, strokes, heart attacks, burns, and remote area rescues all require getting patients to advanced medical care as quickly as possible. Ground ambulances are essential, but traffic, distance, terrain, and road conditions can create delays. Medical helicopters allow emergency crews to bypass many of those obstacles entirely, dramatically reducing transport time in situations where every second matters. But operating one is incredibly complex. Unlike a normal helicopter, an air ambulance is essentially a flying emergency room. Inside the aircraft are advanced medical monitors, oxygen systems, medications, ventilators, trauma equipment, communication systems, and specialized stretchers designed to function safely during flight. And all of that equipment has to operate reliably in an environment filled with vibration, noise, wind, and constant movement. Then there's the crew itself. Medical helicopter teams are highly specialized. Pilots require extensive flight training, especially because many emergency flights happen at night or during difficult weather conditions. Flying low over unfamiliar terrain while locating landing zones is far more dangerous than most people realize. At the same time, onboard medical crews, often critical care nurses and flight paramedics, must be capable of handling life-threatening emergencies in an extremely confined space while the helicopter is actively moving. That means these teams train constantly. Emergency procedures, flight safety, patient care protocols, communication drills, and landing coordination are all practiced repeatedly because there's very little room for error during real missions. And quick question: if you were in a serious emergency, would you feel safer being transported by helicopter, or would that make you even more nervous? Let me know below. One of the biggest hidden costs is maintenance. Helicopters require extremely strict inspection schedules and constant servicing. Every component, from rotor systems and engines to navigation equipment and onboard medical devices, must meet precise safety standards. And unlike commercial aircraft that mostly operate between airports, medical helicopters often land in unpredictable locations. Highways, accident scenes, rural areas, hospital rooftops, and uneven terrain all place additional stress on both pilots and equipment. Fuel costs are also massive. Helicopters consume significant amounts of fuel, especially during emergency operations that require rapid response and hovering capability. Add in insurance costs, highly trained personnel, medical equipment, maintenance crews, dispatch systems, and specialized aviation support teams, and the operating expenses increase quickly. Weather is another major challenge. While helicopters provide speed and flexibility, they're also highly dependent on safe flying conditions. Pilots constantly evaluate visibility, wind, storms, and terrain risks before and during flights. In some situations, dangerous weather can ground aircraft entirely, forcing emergency crews to rely on ground transport instead. And despite how dramatic these flights can look, safety remains the priority above all else. Medical crews are trained to balance urgency with operational caution because rushing into unsafe conditions can create even greater emergencies. What makes all of this fascinating is how invisible the system usually feels until people need it personally. Most people don't think about medical helicopters until they suddenly see one landing nearby or hear one overhead responding to an emergency. But behind every flight is an enormous network of pilots, medical teams, dispatchers, mechanics, hospitals, communication systems, and emergency planning all working together to move critically injured patients as fast as possible. So, while medical helicopters may seem unbelievably expensive from the outside, the reality is that they're designed to do something incredibly difficult: bring advanced emergency care directly into situations where time itself can become the difference between life and death.